by obtaining power-ups at certain points in the game, and it looked like a kid drew with a fucking pencil. It literally first popped up into my head when I created Steve, and it was like, that could be cool.
If you don't know what this is my first devlog for a game I was developing in 2020 called Doodle. It was my first attempt at learning how to make a game and use the Unity engine. I was so excited to create a video game as I played video games for over 15 years, and it still holds an important place in my heart. At the time, I was coming up to my sophomore year of college studying computer information systems, or pretty much coding and making programs. And I knew I would enjoy coding ever since I was in high school, and making a game was something on my mind back then as well. I made a second devlog and I almost got the first 10-ish minutes of the game completed, and then I just hit a wall. Now, why did I hit a wall, and what wall am I even talking about? And the main question is, what happened? What made me give up hope on the project? This is what I want to explain in this video. I am making this video not only to tell you what happened, but maybe to help someone else break the wall they are stuck behind at the current moment. Let's talk about me first. I am now a senior computer information systems major and a music minor. And coming up this May, I am graduating from my undergraduate program. The last 2 years have changed me more than I could ever imagine. My goals are clear, my interests are evolving, and my thought process is different. This opens me up to talk about my first mistake. I believe this mistake just came clear with time. It was my naiveness to my passions. I was ill-equipped at the time, not just because I just started using Unity, not just because I was a sophomore in college. It wasn't the physical challenges that stopped me, but my mental ones. In reality, I was still a kid. I enjoyed video games and I knew I wanted to create one myself, but I really didn't take into consideration the massive amount of time, knowledge, and passion it takes to make something. I was lazy. I was getting through college just because I knew it was something I had to do. I was doing well, but not going above and beyond. It didn't help that COVID came later that year and completely shifted everything online, which was an environment that my laziness thrived in. I did not let my passions thrive in my brain, but kept them around because I enjoyed them. Junior year, I was still a kid for about a semester until I had a realization. Questions arose in my head. What is going to happen after college? Are you fine just working as a programmer? And are you really happy with what you are doing now? And that last question really stuck with me for that whole year. Sure, I was happy with my life. I had great friends, great hobbies, and great memories. But I knew that something had to change to keep what I had. I had to change. I believe the start of my senior year was really the turning point. That question was around to haunt me for the rest of my life if I didn't do something about it. One thing that I am extremely grateful about my fall semester is that I had the opportunity to do a game for my senior project, which was a massive passion boost. It was the same passion I had flowing in my brain in August of 2020. But this time, I was aware of my faults and what I had failed to do back then 2 years ago, which was to feed my hungry passions. My idea of colorless was born, but something was still not right. I couldn't put my finger on it at the time. My second mistake was starting to creep up on me again. Making a game is not an easy task, and the way I define a video game is different from 2 years ago. A video game is a unified combination of art. The art of game design, the art of music, the art of coding, the art of sound design, and well, the art of art. I find that these are the most important parts in any game, but not all of these have to be equal in regards to time allotted and proficiency. You can include the art of story writing, but obviously this is optional for making a game, as a game does not have to have a good story in order to be seen as good. Some good examples are Rocket League, Mario, and Minecraft. 2 of these games have absolutely no story and have a thriving fan base, while the last one has the Save a Princess story in almost every title. Well, okay, so game design, music, coding, sound design, and art are important. I can already checkmark that I have an adequate skill in 3 of these types of art. I know how to code, I know how game design works, and I know how music works. These 3 skills are the 3 things that I love about making a game, and no matter how much time I spend on perfecting and increasing these skills, I never get tired. Well, wait, what about the other 2 skills? This is when my second mistake hit me right in my face. I started learning pixel art, animations, sound effects, and sound design, and I absolutely hated it. My second mistake was that I did not have to check all these boxes down in order to make a game. Yes, it would be amazing if I could do everything on my own, but in reality, I am not that skilled in all of these areas. So what should I do? Well, you either spend a bunch of time improving these skills to the point where you want to bang your head against a wall, if you really did enjoy it like I did, or you just don't learn how to do it. And I know this might sound a little weird, but you hire someone else to do it. In reality, if you really want to make a game solo and you don't have all 5 of these boxes checked out, you're gonna have a really hard time trying to do it, so why don't we just save the trouble and hire someone else to do it? Of course, at least try to do all these skills by yourself at first, but if you really are not having fun doing it, you're not doing something wrong. These are some hard skills to master and to enjoy. I enjoy learning the basics of color palettes, pixel art sizes, and Audacity, but when it came down to what I was trying to do, I needed some type of help. Overall, my experience with the people I work with to get my art is great. They're artists, they know what they are doing, and as long as you explain to the absolute smallest detail of what you want, you will be happy with the work they give you. By the way, I use Fiverr to hire people to do my art. There are a lot of different artists from a lot of different fields on the website, and they all do amazing work. I highly recommend doing this if you don't want to do some art, coding, sound design, or music composition. I hate the concept of making a game by yourself. It most definitely does not equate to doing every single song, every single sound effect, every single art asset, and every single line of code. Some people can and will do that, and that's perfectly fine. But help your sanity and hire someone else to do it. You will enjoy game development a lot more this way. It is still your solo project that you single-handedly combine the 5 important elements that are needed to make a game. With that, I believe you are still making a game by yourself, even when you might not be doing all the art, all the music, the code, or the sound design, because a video game is a unified combination of all those arts. Let's move on to how to not make the third mistake, which was not knowing how to feed my passion and strategically think about what I was trying to do. The goal is to make a game, but how do we do that? Well, since I am a perfectionist and I want all my elements to be perfect, I gave myself no time limit. But if you don't treat this no time limit attribute correctly, it can really spiral out of control. Having a time limit gives you a basis on when you know you should stop, which can be helpful to some people. But if you are going with the no time limit route, you might not have a time limit, but there is usually something to work on in your game. I work my game in cycles of how my general passion is swaying towards at the moment. The way to get into this type of cycle is to get inspired by other people. There are a lot of people out there that will be glad to help you with learning new skills and talking about a certain topic. You can always learn from others about a new topic or a topic that they have more proficiency in. I can already remember how I got inspired by my jazz professor to help me write more jazz-style tunes. I asked him and he gladly taught me the basics of how to write jazz. My passion was fed and I created the first battle theme for my game. Not only did I work on my game with enjoyment, but I also learned a cool new skill that I can use for the future. Then, watching people speedrun games or just play the games casually started to help me think about how a game might work, which can spark game ideas. One of the best ways to feed your passions is to use the internet, research it, look at videos, articles, documentation, and then apply what you've just learned. Hopefully this will work for you, and thankfully this type of cycle will help you stay engaged in making a game. Keeping your mind on a single element in your game will become boring and you might even hit a roadblock if you spend too much time on it. That is your cue to move on to something else, or to just take a break. Mistake number 4 is not taking a break. Our bodies and minds need a break from what we are doing sometimes, and on occasion, when in our breaks, we find the solution to our roadblock. I think the light bulb analogy is perfect to how our minds think. The solution and idea comes to us quickly and unexpectedly. It'll probably spark your passion once more, and if it doesn't, I highly recommend that you start writing down your ideas and solutions if you haven't already. Mistake number 5 is not writing down your ideas and solutions. Usually, when we come up with new ideas or solutions, we don't write them down, and later on, there's a probability of it being lost forever as we start to forget. Let's start not taking those chances and writing these thoughts down. They might not be used instantly, they might not be correct, and they might not be used at all, but as long as you write it down, it will never be forgotten. Those are the 5 big mistakes I made, and I hope this can stop you from making the same mistakes I did. While this video is coming to a close, I will show you just a short timeline progression of my game Colorless, and if you want the longer devlog video, I will leave a link in the description, and while you are down there, consider subscribing, leaving a like, and checking out my channel.